Hey, let's park the car. I got some clown chowder here.
Head to upstate New York
Jumping up the buffalo
to face the Bills. Patriots, Bills, Monday at 8 Eastern on ESPN.
This Friday on ESPN Radio, it's the Pac-12 championship game. 11th ranked Oregon goes head-to-head with 19th ranked Utah in Las Vegas with a trip to the Rose Bowl on the line. It was Utah who blew out Oregon on November 20th and ended the Ducks' hope at the playoff. Can the Utes take down Oregon again, or is it revenge time for the Ducks? Number 11, Oregon. Number 19, Utah. Coverage begins Friday at 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ABC. Presented by
From
Dr.
the
Pepper.
Paxa Studios in downtown Honolulu, this is ESPN Honolulu, KKEA Honolulu, 1420 AM and 92.7 FM.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Steve Lennox. Michigan, after last Saturday's impressive win at home in Ann Arbor against Ohio State, moving from number 5 to number 2 in the latest college football playoff rankings. Georgia remains at number 1 for the 5th consecutive week. Alabama, Cincinnati, Oklahoma State, 3, 4, and 5. Notre Dame remains at number 6. Five-star quarterback Malachi Nelson committing to USC. Nelson, the number 3 prospect in the 2023 class. He did decommit from Oklahoma after Lincoln Riley left the Sooners to become the new head coach of the Trojans. LSU today announcing the 10-year, $95 million deal with new head football coach Brian Kelly. LSU will introduce Kelly at a news conference on Wednesday. LeBron James will miss tonight's game against Sacramento. Likely will miss several more games after entering the league's health and safety protocols. That's second part of that from ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski. Phoenix Suns winners of 16 straight home tonight against the Warriors, who have won 7 in a row. Today on First Take, Stephen A. Smith held his stance on the Phoenix Suns with J.J. Redick.
Phoenix is a championship contender. Phoenix is to be respected. What I'm saying to you is this. When I think about Brooklyn at its best, when I think about Milwaukee at its best, when I think about Miami potentially at its best, there's only one team I look at in the Western Conference and go like this: I don't give a damn who you put them up against. One, and that's Golden State.
Stephen A. today with J.J. Redick on First Take. Giants quarterback Daniel Jones has a strained neck. Could miss Sunday's game against the Miami Dolphins. Mike Glennon would start for the Giants if Jones cannot play. Hockey, Devils and Jack Hughes agreeing to terms on an 8-year extension worth $64 million. Hughes coming back after missing 17 games with a dislocated shoulder.
Hey, it's Greeny, and Wednesday is going to be nuts. What did the messages mean that were sent by the College Football Playoff Committee? How will it impact the final week of the season and the playoff? We'll talk about it. It's Greeny, starting 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN+.
Welcome to the Rivals Pregame Show on ESPN Honolulu. Brought to you by Rivals Sports Bar and Lounge. For every sport, for every game, for everyone. In the Waikiki Malia by Outrigger.
Up against Santa Clara today. Santa Clara will give you more details about in a few minutes, but having a pretty good start, even though they've got a losing streak. Derrick, thanks for joining us again. And before we talk about the upcoming game, let's go back a little bit to last week when Hawaii was in Las Vegas, Thursday, Thanksgiving, and the day after, won the first game over Illinois, Chicago, leading from start to finish. And then the second game against South Alabama, had a lead in the first half. Foul trouble hurt them, as well as the injuries that they had with no Bernardo da Silva and Noel Coleman. Still, I think when you look back at those two games, good shooting performances. That's what stood out the most. In both games, Hawaii shot pretty well.
Yeah, like you said, it was their shooting and how hard they play that, kept them in the game. But, like one thing that I always like to focus on is, I think, mainly because it's been UH's biggest problem in a lot of the games is the turnovers. And when you look, after the game, when it's all said and done, I'm sure you can pick a few things here and there that, cost the game. But, in reality, when you look at it, the turnovers, UH had 20 turnovers and and out of those 20 turnovers, South Alabama had 10 points off of those turnovers. So, when it's all said and done, maybe if UH could take back a couple of those turnovers, just a couple, the game could have went completely different. So.
What a high number that is. And that did stand out to me, especially when the day before they only had 7 for the entire game, 3 at halftime against UIC, ending up with 7. Anything under 15 is a pretty good number. I mean, if you can get in single digits, even better. 20 is definitely too much. And I look at the depleted lineup, without Bernardo da Silva, as we heard on Thanksgiving Day. Mate Chelina came in and had some monster games. He shot 78% from the field in those 2 games, had a double-double in one, almost had a second one, really aggressive. And then Hawaii did have a size advantage in both of those games, but I'm glad they used Mate to exploit that on their opponents. That was a good sign to see without Bernardo da Silva, especially.
Yeah, I think Hawaii always has a good advantage. If they can stick to going inside out, establish that present, and then go out, to their guards, I think they always have a good chance of competing in the game. They've done it in the past. But, I think I saw 4 of Hawaii's players, scored in double figures. So that's always encouraging, getting
Right.
that kind of production. But, it comes back to the injuries, losing 2 of your guards that you were going to rely on heavily to handle the ball and take pressure. It really cost them this game, especially when South Alabama had a bunch of those long, athletic, quick guards that apply pressure on the perimeter, right? So they definitely could have used Munoz and Noel, but they just had to do what they could. This last game they fought. The game was close, and just a few turnovers here, if they could take it back, could have made a big difference.
Gary Dickman and Derrick Lowe here, the Rivals Pregame Show on ESPN Honolulu. Also on our Facebook page and YouTube page as well, if you want to check us out and get to see us and hear us. We'll send it up to Bobby Curran coming up around 3:50 in the afternoon, tip-off right after 4 o'clock. We will have our special player that we'll talk to, a former Rainbow Warrior, in Rod Bobbitt. He will join us in 10 minutes from now. Also a little later, Derrick and I will give our H player of the game, the important, maybe the key player that can really help Hawaii to victory today. We'll do that a little bit later. On Friday's show, Derrick chose Amaro Lotto, who has been stepping it up basically every game. More minutes, more production, and with the injury to Coleman, even more minutes for Lotto. I wondered aloud yesterday on our afternoon show if maybe he could be a starter over McClanahan, who is not shooting the ball particularly well yet. And I have a feeling they'll keep Lotto on the bench, but I wonder about that dynamic. And maybe even though Lotto is off the bench, he might end up with more minutes than McClanahan. Came up with some big shots, but also those numbers are easy to see, and I know it's a little bit of a struggle for him.
Yeah, I'm usually not the best guessers. I never did well on tests when I had to guess. But that Lotto pick of mine turned out pretty well, like you said. That's what he has to come and do, knowing that they're thin on the guard side. He has to come in the game with a lot of energy, whether he starts or doesn't. Has to come into the game, provide that offensive spark. And UH clearly needs it, and it showed, right? He had 12 points, 4 of 7 from the 3. And when you look at the stats at the end of the game, I think UH only had 12 bench points. It was all from Lotto.
Right.
So he did very well, despite the loss. He came in and did his job. Just hope to see some consistency from him.
I want to go back to something you said a minute ago about guessing on tests. See, I did that all the time in school, but you went to Iolani. I didn't think that was allowed there, and maybe you're disclosing a little bit too much there, but I understand where you're coming from. Before the season, we talked about Hawaii and the depth at every position, basically too deep. And what a luxury that is for Coach Aranga not to have. His only concern, or his main concern, not his only one, but was health. It's come into play early on, but it shows that when you have the depth, other guys can step up. And I think they're showing that now. I just hope it's not a game where, again, on Friday, Hepa in foul trouble really took him out of the game, where he had maybe one of his better performances offensively against Illinois Chicago. It kind of took him out of the game with those 3 fouls in the first half. Then you have Junior Madut with 4 fouls, McClanahan as well. And it really hurt Hawaii as South Alabama just wore them down. You couldn't afford to play those guys maybe a little bit more. It's still a 1-possession game at the end, and the 3-pointer fell short at the buzzer. But it was a good effort. I'm glad, again, this team has no quit in them.
Oh, absolutely. That's going to have to be one of their biggest things going into every game. We already know, they have with the injuries, the lack of depth now, in guard position or whatnot. But when it comes to foul trouble, it's really going to affect UH down the stretch. So even more so, they got to come out and fight like crazy every single game, take care of the ball. And they showed. They did that last game, and it was only a 3-point loss, despite everything. So they have shown that they have the ability to compete. They just got to tighten up in a few areas.
One thing I was told by coaches a long time ago, and you played college basketball, I haven't, is that traveling on the road, a coach is looking for a lot of how the players travel. Are they on time? Are they preparing well? Are they sleeping, getting enough rest? A lot of logistical things or variables that maybe the fans don't take into account. And I heard that from 20 years ago from Hawaii coaches. To me, that showed that maybe taking an early season road trip can help them when conference play starts. And this is kind of a long trip, at least lengthwise, not so much the games, although 3 games is about as long as it'll get. But you went to Las Vegas a week ago, and now you're in Santa Clara. So I think these games can hopefully help build this team for when conference play starts in a month. Is that something you ever felt going through road trips early on in your career at Washington State?
No, I never really did think about those kinds of things when it came to road trips. Gotta look at it, Gary. These guys, these kids are young. I don't think their body knows what jet lag is. If I go to the mainland, I'm going to start to feel it already as soon as I land with that time difference. But, I think they can handle it pretty well. I don't think it's so much anything to do with physical or, being tired from travel or whatnot. It's none of that. At the end of the day, every time that we went on a road trip, our main focus was sticking to our identity as a team, taking care of the things we can control. And really tightening up on our turnovers. Yeah, that was one of the biggest things on our team and Coach Dick and Tony Bennett was, man, we better not get double-digit turnovers. Otherwise, we'd never hear the end of it, and we get a lot of scoldings. But it's always that hustling, competing harder than the other team, and limiting our turnovers. And then if we took care of that, we showed we could play with anybody. So.
We'll get more in depth with Hawaii and their opponent tonight, the Santa Clara Broncos, who come in with a 5-2 record. Hawaii at 3-2 right now. As far as Hawaii's identity, one thing that stands out, the rebounding margin. They are 11th in the country with rebounding margin plus 11.6. That's good to have as part of your identity. If you can get the rebounding battle won by double figures every game, I know that's still fairly early in the season with these 5 games, but that's something that I think is hopefully bodes well. And when you have a Bernardo da Silva, a Mate Chelina, DeRosier, and some of the others, I hope they can continue that. But that's one of the signs I see as far as their identity, at least early on. Well, we're going to take a break in just a minute, and we're going to have Rod Bobbitt join us, go down a little memory lane. He was on the NCAA team that won a game in the tournament for the only time in Hawaii history, so stay tuned for that. You're listening to the Rivals Pregame Show, brought to you by Rivals Sports Bar and Lounge, for every sport, for every game, for everyone in the Waikiki Malia by Outrigger.
Meadow Gold Dairies Hawaii is honored to support University of Hawaii as their official milk partner, nourishing and fueling UH athletics with chocolate milk, white milk, orange juice, and POG. Meadow Gold is proud to provide families in Hawaii with the best dairy, juice, and ice cream products for over 124 years. As our University of Hawaii continues their quest to win and become champions, we celebrate their success. Go Bows!
Got the pothole blues, it's the same old news. Every time I hit the streets, my car takes a beat. My alignment is off and my tires are shot. I need to find a way to lose these pothole blues.
It's okay to sing along, but you don't need to have the pothole blues. Lex Brody's Tire, Brake, and Service Company knows how to cheer you up. First, smiling and welcoming faces. Then, the best value on the island for your wheel alignments, tires, and brakes. Whether it's called our Lex Advantage or our Lex Appeal, we are your best value and choice for Michelin and Toyo tires and brake repairs. Wear your University of Hawaii logoed hat or shirt when you visit an Oahu Lex Brody's location and get an additional 5% off your purchase. Go to lexbrodys.com for more details and for our other Super Saver coupons. Thank you very much.
Here's a team physician tip from Dr. Jay Marumoto.
The majority of meniscus tears in athletes over 30 can do better without surgery if properly diagnosed and treated by the highly skilled sports doctors at Orthopedic Associates.
Dr. Jay Marumoto is the University of Hawaii's most senior team surgeon. For the most advanced sports injury care, contact Orthopedic Associates at 536-2261 or go to oahawaii.com. Orthopedic Associates, Hawaii's team physicians.
The magic of Waikiki is back, and your staycation is waiting for you at the Waikiki Malia by Outrigger. Walking distance to the beach and lots of shopping. Rooms feature smart TVs and high-speed internet. Enjoy Rivals Sports Lounge, slice of Waikiki pizza, and IHOP on property. Come and stay for as low as $99 per night. Enjoy the magic of Waikiki at the Waikiki Malia by Outrigger.
Oh my gosh, I think the whole Makai HR team knows me by name.
At Excel Events Intense, Hawaii's largest event rental operator, President Gabrielle Richter chose Makai HR.
They are my support team. They are a part of the fabric of our company, and they make me a better employer through their advice.
Makai HR, getting Hawaii back to business. Visit makaihr.com/value for your free, no obligation analysis.
And they make my work lighter through their services.
This is the Rivals Pregame Show on ESPN Honolulu.
Welcome back, Gary Dickman and Derrick Lowe here. Thank you for tuning in to the Rivals Pregame Show here on ESPN Honolulu. You can also check us out on our Facebook page and YouTube as well. This is going to be fun, talking to one of the former Rainbow Warriors, has a whole bunch of records, one of the best to ever play for a University of Hawaii basketball team, and part of history, winning an NCAA tournament game, the only time that's ever happened, from 2016. We are joined now by Rod Bobbitt. Rod, thank you so much for joining us. Great to catch up with you. Before we talk about your UH career, can you give us an update on how basketball is going for you now?
Well, it's been a little rough with COVID and everything. I played lastly right before COVID hit. I think I spoke to you guys about that, playing in Spain. And yeah, it's been rough trying to get across the waters and all the rules with not letting people in. So I actually just got some interest from a team in Japan the last couple of days, so I may be heading there soon, top of the year.
Okay, Derrick has a question for you. Derrick Lowe here.
Oh, hey, Rod. Thanks for coming, man.
Of course.
I just wanted to say before I answer my question, I really enjoyed watching you play at UH. I appreciated your poise as a point guard and your toughness on both ends of the floor. It's super fun to watch. But
yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, no worries. But my question is, so far in your professional career, where has been your favorite country to play in? I'm always curious to ask all my friends, where's their favorite place? A lot of people ask me that question and they're super shocked when I tell them Ukraine, like no one really understands why, but I'm just curious where your favorite place was.
Well, so far I would have to say Spain. I like Spain a lot. I went to a couple soccer games out there and got to see that experience, so that was like really cool of mine. That was like a bucket list for me because I've gotten into soccer over the past couple of years, so being able to go out there and go see Barcelona and Messi and Suarez at the time, that was pretty dope. And yeah, I think I would say Spain.
Yeah, no, that sounds awesome. Just real quick before I go back to Gary, but man, it's a different thing overseas. When I was in Romania, our arena was right next to the soccer stadium, and I went to a soccer game and it was sold out, 60,000 people. And I was just wondering, why are we only getting like 300 people at our games? There's 60,000 people right next door. How come only 300 comes to our games? But that's how it is overseas. But it's a really good experience, though.
Of course, they love their soccer first and basketball second.
Absolutely.
Let's talk more about your UH careers. We're joined here by Rod Bobbitt, former point guard for the University of Hawaii and the Rivals Pregame Show on ESPN Honolulu. My first memory of you, I went to some of the early season practices, and I was told there was a really good point guard coming in, and he was really good on defense. And I've told this story to many people since then. I have never seen a player at University of Hawaii practice. Was there any team I've hosted for the Diamond Head that played defense in practice the way you did? You played like it was the Final Four of the NCAA tournament in practice. You were all over whoever you were guarding. You played excellent defense, getting the steals, and we'll get to your steal numbers. When did that become part of your repertoire, so to speak, as far as practicing as hard as you did, especially on defense?
I would have to say it was my father. You know, he always made it a point that, you know, defense wins championships. So that was always something I kept in mind. And I don't know, I just love anticipating passes. I always love getting into passing lanes, and because with that comes easy layups or assists for your teammates. So I don't know. I think it's really been since I've been young, and once I got older, I think I just locked in and focused more on it.
Your first year here at the University of Hawaii was 2014-2015. You had 100 steals exactly, averaging 2.86 a game. You had a triple-double. I'm not sure if I've ever seen a triple-double like this. You had 12 points, 10 assists, and 10 steals. Usually it's rebounds for the triple-double. What do you remember about the second ever triple-double in Hawaii basketball history?
Yeah, I remember I was just flying across the court that game. Like it was a lot of games where I got a lot of steals in it, and I just remember just being everywhere. But like I really don't think about it in the time. Like the 10 steals thing, that was the first time I've ever got it, and that's been the last time I've gotten it too. So I'm glad it was able to be there and help with the second ever triple double. But yeah, I don't know, man. That was insane. That 10 steal game was like unheard of. When I tell people about that, they look at me like, huh? 10 steals? But yeah.
That's pretty rare. Let me ask you, I'm curious about this. When anybody gets a triple-double in college or the NBA, were you aware that you needed one of a certain category to hit the triple-double mark?
Oh, I'm pretty sure. You know that the stats are at the bench every time you go to a timeout break. And I used to like to glance and see how many assists I had and how I was shooting and turnovers and things of that sort. So I'm probably 100% sure I knew I was almost there at the triple-double when the time came.
Nothing wrong with that. That is fine. Well, let's push ahead to the magical year of 2015-2016, winning the Big West regular season, the Big West tournament, and winning a game in the NCAA tournament. You were number one in steals in University of Hawaii history with 168. You also, before we get to the tournament part, I remember the Diamond Head, you had back-to-back 30-point games, and one of them was against Oklahoma and Buddy Field. And I remember I was hosting Auburn, who you played on Christmas Day, and Bruce Pearl couldn't stop raving about you after the game. What do you remember about that tournament going up against big-time schools and the back-to-back 30s?
Well, the year before we didn't have the Diamond Head we wanted. I think we might have went 2-1. Yeah, we lost to Wichita State at the buzzer. So we all knew about that going into the following year, and we wanted to, win it. It was our tournament. We hosted it, and that was a tough game versus Oklahoma. I mean, many may not know that I was offered a scholarship from Oklahoma, and I had broken my arm before I got to Hawaii, so they had basically said the scholarship that they had for me was taken, or the person was staying. So I was like, okay, that's fine. And I went out to go visit Hawaii, and ended up committing there. And when I got back to school in Iowa, they were calling my coach saying, "Oh no, we hope it's not too late. We hope it's not too late." And I was like, "Oh no, I gave my word to Hawaii already, so I'm gonna just go there." And once I seen we had them on the schedule, I just knew that they had to get it. I knew it. So.
Oh, we know Rod circled that game on the calendar, man. He had that circled. He was ready for that.
Oh yeah, me, my mom, my dad, the whole family was. So we were ready for that one, and I think I just after that game went to Auburn, and I still was feeling hot, and I still was making my jumpers. I made a lot of threes that tournament, and that was a good one. I wish we could have won it all, man. That still hurts to know I didn't get a chance to win a Diamond Head Classic championship, but
against good teams and what you guys did is amazing. So you're saying, and I don't want anybody to ever get hurt, but if not for a broken arm, you might not have come to UH.
I mean, I wouldn't say that. I would still have came on a visit. I was going to go to a visit to Oklahoma as well But once that fell through and I came to Hawaii and me and my mom fell in love, that probably would have happened regardless. You know, I had one of the coaches at St. Mary's actually told me he was going to buy a plane ticket when I went on my visit, just so I didn't commit to Hawaii. So, I mean, a lot of coaches knew once I went to Hawaii that I probably would commit. That's what happened.
Interesting. Rod Bobbitt joining us here on the Rivals Pregame Show on ESPN Honolulu and our Facebook page as well. What made that team so special? We'll get to the tournament specifically in a minute, but what made it so special? Was it chemistry, talent, or a combination of things?
Yeah, I think it was a combination. I think it first starts with how we lost the year before in the championship versus Irvine, and that one really hurt us as a group because we were so close. We had went through so much that year, and to still be able to win the Big West Championship and possibly go to the tournament was something we wanted. So that next year, we had that taste in our mouth. We also had chemistry. We had played the year before together through some we went through a lot of adversity. I don't think many thought we would come out the way we did the 2014 and 15 years. So we knew that we were a special group. And, you know, coming in with a new coach, with Coach Gannat, we knew we needed to listen, and it would be a different way of playing. That's why you see I had 100 steals my junior year, and then I dropped down to 68, I believe. So, yes. It was a different way of playing. We all took it in. We all were responsive and wanted to work when we got our new coach, and I think that helped us. You know, he helped us as well.
What were some of the biggest challenges? There are some people say, well, he Iran won with other coaches' players. I think he deserved more credit for that. But what were the challenges for the players to either adjust to the coaches or have the coaches adjust to you guys? And, again, the magical run, the chemistry, everything you talked about sounds easier said than done.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think we started the year off with Coach Gibb, and then lost him, lost a kind of got some of his guys to come be assistant coaches. So we went through a lot of coaches in that time, and we also went through coaches when Coach Gannat got here. And, you know, we knew that was our coach. You know, we spoke to him, we had conversations with him. We all had the same goal. We all wanted to, win a Big West championship because we knew we were capable of it. We knew we had a really good team, and, yeah.
You beat Long Beach State in the championship game, and I was reminded last week, and I almost forgot, but Long Beach State gave you 2 losses, the only 2 losses, I believe, in the regular season. Was that extra motivation to beat them in the championship game?
Yep, you know, it was the revenge game. You know, that's the game that really mattered. We did lose to them twice, and we all felt like that. We couldn't let them beat us 3 times and to go to the tournament. So that definitely lit us up underneath, and just being in a championship game, we just knew that we were that close the year before that we had to accomplish it that year. I'm glad we did.
Going to the NCAA tournament where Hawaii has gone several times before, I believe 3 or 4, I'm trying to remember exactly how many, never won a game. You guys play Cal, 13 seed with a 4, and it was a popular upset choice seemingly around the country. Jay Billis picked it as an upset and a few others. It seemed like you guys had a lot of confidence and, again, a really great performance. What do you remember about the NCAA tournament victory up in Spokane?
I remember everything. I remember walking into the gym and seeing it, and it was like, wow, seeing the March Madness on the floor and just like, wow. You know, we all grow up watching it as kids. You know, everybody watches March Madness. So that was the first thing where I was like, God, we made it. And then, you know, me and Quincy being from the Bay Area playing California, I knew me and him had we felt deeply about that game. And so that's why I know with me and him, and we were finally there, so we all knew we had to play hard. We all knew that it wasn't going to be easy. We knew they had high draft picks on the team and everything of that sort. But, you know, we got a good traveling. A lot of people came and watched us, so that helped us. And, yeah, we balled out that first game, man.
I believe it was the 3rd pick in the NBA draft that June. Jaylen Brown was on that team, and he's obviously had a great NBA career, so one of the many stars on that Cal team. You mentioned you're from the Bay Area, and I know talking to you over the years, you are a diehard Golden State Warriors fan. They've got a big game coming up against Phoenix today. I have a feeling I know who you're picking in this game, even though it's a road trip.
Oh, yeah. I definitely got the Warriors tonight. And if I'm not mistaken, then I think the Suns come back up on Friday, and I'll be at that game just in case this game doesn't go well.
I know you've gone to the finals before, so it makes sense that you would be at this game, and Golden State having a great start. Rod, we really want to thank you for joining us, talking about everything that took place at UH. We wish you the best of luck. Hopefully you'll get that call today or in the near future from Japan. We can follow your pro career once again.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you guys.
All right, thank you so much. Rod Bobbitt joining us here on the Rivals Pregame Show. Great career at UH, and I remember that first practice. Gib Arnold invited me. He was still the coach his junior year, and I have never seen anybody practice like that. He was just all over the ball handlers like glue. I'm surprised they didn't get mad at him, but I've never seen anybody defend like that in practice, and it carried over to his career. Again, 100 steals in a season. Pretty impressive, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, I actually played at a couple pickup games at UH against him. I didn't play too much. I was going against someone else, but the few times that we did match up, I mean, I watched him play, but then I noticed, I was like, oh, like, you know, it's nothing special. It's not pure speed, but he's just smart on defense. He picks his moments when he can cut off, or he just pushes you to a certain area. So, I mean, a smart defender, definitely.
Attitude and effort and smart player, as you mentioned. Well, great catching up with Rod. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back, Derrick and I. We're going to talk a little bit more about Santa Clara, about some of their key players. We'll also give our special H player, a key player for Hawaii tonight. All ahead with the Rivals Pregame Show on ESPN Honolulu.
Happy holidays from TNT Tinting. Here's TNT CEO Tommy Silva.
This holiday season, we reflect on what we are thankful for. And as TNT Tinting is now 100% employee-owned and operated, Terry and I are grateful for our loyal and dedicated employee owners.
After 40 years in business, you now have even more friends in the business at TNT. Since we're employee-owned, everyone at TNT acts as a business owner serving you.
And that makes TNT Tinting gift certificates a great gift this Christmas. Give them Lumar's new Valor Self-Healing Paint Protection Film. It's a self-healing 8mm thick urethane film that protects the front-facing painted surfaces of your vehicle. Or the best auto tint on earth, Stratus by Formula One Performance Auto Tint. It absorbs up to 63% of the heat and over 99% of the UV rays.
Give the coolest gifts this year from TNT Tinting.
Call, stop by, or buy online at tnttinting.com.
Aloha, Jennifer Hardy for Hardy Homes Hawaii. Your biggest asset is your home. Wouldn't you agree you need a real estate company working towards your goals? Hardy Homes Hawaii is the advantage you need. Our creative, efficient, and resourceful team provides you the highest level of service you deserve, providing clear action and consultation for the sale or purchase of real estate. Go to hardyhomeshawaii.com and experience the advantage today. Hardy Homes Hawaii, enriching life and relationships through inspiration. One home at a time.
Are you or someone you know facing eviction for unpaid rent? By law, all Hawaii tenants must be given the opportunity to mediate if back rent is owed. Mediation is a free, safe, and private process where an impartial mediator helps tenants and landlords talk things out and seek solutions. For more information, call 808-807-0080 or go to www.mediatehawaii.org. Again, that's mediatehawaii.org. Sponsored by Hawaii Appleseed. Aired by the Hawaii Association of Broadcasters and this station.
If you qualify for Medicaid and are looking for health care coverage, choose United Healthcare. We can help care for you and your ohana with member rewards, virtual workshops, telehealth, and an app to find a provider or see your ID card, and much more. Learn more by calling 1-888-980-8728, TTY 711. It's your choice. Choose United Healthcare.
Battery Bill. Battery Bill. Be prepared for any emergency with a portable solar generator from Battery Bill. Having a solar generator will provide backup power when you need it most, and peace of mind. Choose from top brands like Jackery and Goal Zero. Learn more at batterybill.com.
Hi, I'm Battery Bill. The sun is the center of our solar system. Battery Bills is your center for solar generators. When you need emergency power, when you need portable power, it's Battery Bill. Battery Bill.
This is the Rivals Pregame Show on ESPN Honolulu.
And welcome back. Gary Dickman here with Derrick Lowe. We're going to send it over to Bobby Curran, who is at Santa Clara. Tip-off right after 4 p.m. We'll send it over to Bobby in about 17 minutes from now. Let's talk a little bit about the opponent, Santa Clara. The Broncos are 5-2, as we said. Kind of an interesting season for them so far. They won their first 5 games of the season against Cal State Fullerton, Stanford, Nevada, Cal Poly, and TCU. And then most recently, they've lost 2 in a row to Fresno State and UC Irvine. Derrick, last week we talked about the opponents and brought up some of their strengths, the lack of size maybe, and a few other variables. With Santa Clara, they've got a lot of strengths on their team, mostly on the offensive side, and it starts with shooting. They are 11th in the country, shooting 51% as a team, and they are 13th in the country on three-point shooting at 42%. Those are pretty scary numbers, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when I was watching their a few of their 2 last games, and I just noticed that they get out on offense. Everyone can pretty much shoot. Pipes, their point guard. I think he averages 44% from 3-point line. So
yes,
he's a really good sniper. On top of being a good distributor, getting to the lane and so forth. But even their bigs, Brankic, I know he can step out and shoot as well. If he does play heavy minutes this game, I'm not quite sure. But, just as a team, it's kind of scary when a team can hit from outside as well as, they have size and they can go inside. So we kind of got to, really watch closely on that.
That hasn't been a strength for Hawaii early on, their three-point defense. They are letting up 37% on threes. So that's something they got to work on, especially with Santa Clara hitting 41%. And again, one of the better teams in the country for their starters, except for Brankic, and he's only started, I think, 4 of their 7 games, 3 of their 7 games. The other 4 starters shoot 36% or better on three-pointers. They all average double figures. PJ Pipes, the player you were referring to, the point guard, he's averaging over 4 assists a game or 5 assists a game, averaging 14.6 points. Keyshawn Justice is their leading rebounder at 6'7". So he's going to be dangerous, and they are a good rebounding team as well. But even though he's not the tallest player, Brannick is, Justice is the guy to watch for there. Parker Braun, 6'10" player. He's only averaging 5.7 rebounds. Not that bad, but for 6'10", almost averaging 10 points a game as well. And then Jalen Williams, another junior guard, 17.6 points, another good player. So they've got weapons everywhere. 4 of their 5 starters, as I said, averaging double figures. Hawaii's going to have to do a good job defensively with all those shooters for them.
Yeah, starts with Pipes. I think we got to get back on defense, and we really got to keep him in front and contain him. I know he's a great shooter, so obviously when they do ball screens, we got to chase. We got to lock and trail everything. But the guy that you said, Jalen Williams, 6'6" guard, I was watching him, and I was super impressed with him. I don't want to hype him up too much because I don't want that to backfire on me, but, he's special. And I know for a fact there's a lot of NBA coaches that scout him. He's kind of he can do he can handle the ball. He handles the ball. He brings it up court, initiates offense on a lot of the plays. And he's just so smooth with the ball. He always gets to his spot at the free throw line, rises up, shoots it. Real nice soft touch, but he's got enough length to get to the basket with ease. So, that's one guy we really got to watch out for. And then the other guy, their center, Bediako.
Yes.
I really liked him as well. He doesn't do a lot, anything special on the court, but you watch him on defense and, on pick and rolls, he plays drop coverage a little bit. He'll go up to make sure the guy doesn't shoot a 3, but he'll slowly back off, until his teammate recovers. But he can move his feet really well, so he's very mobile. So that's another thing to watch out for.
Santa Clara has a familiar name if you're a college basketball fan or a follower. Herb Sendek was at NC State for a pretty long time. Then he was at Arizona State for a while. Did you ever play against any of his teams in the Pac-12?
Yes. So, funny story here. Herb Sendek, he was at NC State, and he, matter of fact, was recruiting me really hard out of high school. And NC State was one of my top choices. Before I narrowed it down to 4, NC State was really appealing to me. And I was seriously considering that, and it's the way they play and it's the ACC. But then, things happened how they did. I don't regret my choice, Washington State. Absolutely not. But then when I was at Washington State, I got a chance to play against him as well. And then I think he brought his assistant coach, Phelps, down as well. And so we got to meet again. So that's a really cool fun facts.
How would you describe his style of coaching as far as, let's say, his offense? We talked about the shooting. Are they a team where traditionally they're in transition a lot or like to move it and push it up court a lot?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, they have athletes, you know, what I noticed is they play really sound defense. You know, they're in help position. They're always moving as the ball moves. Like I said, they're always switching. I think they switch 1 through 4. And then they do drop coverage with Bediako. When Bediako is out, I think they do a lot of switches if they need to. You know, once they get the rebound, they're out. They're relying on their length, their quickness, their three-point shooting. If they can get a 3 up, they're getting a 3 up. You know, if not, they're setting it up. They're getting a lot of backdoor stuff. You know, just moving the ball from one end to the other. So, you know, I think they play really well together, and they play. I think they play the right way.
We know the University of Hawaii with Eran Ganot traditionally plays 95% man-to-man. They did go to a little bit of a zone last week, and I think that was partially because of foul trouble and maybe a shortened bench. Teams will do that. I wonder today, when you talk about Williams, they're one of their leading scorers at 17.6. In fact, he is their leading scorer. I wonder if maybe you put a guy like Junior Madud on him or Jerome DeRosier. DeRosier is a little bigger, and Williams at 6'6". I think Madud could probably handle him, but I have a feeling it'll be one of those two covering Williams.
Yeah, whichever one. I think it's going to be a hard cover regardless. The last thing we want is Madud to get in foul trouble, right? So
he had 4 on Friday.
Yeah, that's one thing to consider. But then also, you know, if DeRosier guards him, I think Williams has a little bit of quickness advantage and length, and you know, I think he'll exploit that as much as possible. But either way, I think, you know, UH just got to get back on defense and just pick up early. You know, find the shooters early. I think if they switch defenses, you know, not stay in zone too long, because as we know, Santa Clara is a really good outside shooting team. But if we can kind of throw off rhythm a little bit, control tempo, we might have a good advantage.
If you're just tuning in or haven't heard the latest, we know that Bernardo da Silva, Noel Coleman aren't expected to play today. Bobby Kern will join us in 10 minutes and give us the latest. Hopefully both guys will be back, if not next week against Hawaii Pacific on Wednesday the 8th, then the Diamond Head, which is their next game. But they can afford to be patient at this point of the season, but we'll get an update on that coming up a little bit later. With Santa Clara, the team that averages almost 80 points a game, so going to be a formidable opponent, that is for sure. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk more about the Big West, some of the results from last night, and some of the updated standings out of conference. And then Derrick and I will both give our key player, the H player who is really important, a key for Hawaii to get a victory tonight against Santa Clara. That is all ahead. You are listening to the Rivals Pregame Show, brought to you by Rivals Sports Bar and Lounge, for every sport, for every game, for everyone in the Waikiki Malia by Outrigger.
In need of cash for home improvements, bill consolidation, tuition, or other expenses? Apply now for a cash-out refinance loan from Finance Factors. Mortgage rates are still low, so it's not too late to refinance your current loan to take cash out to finance other essentials. Finance Factors offers some of the lowest mortgage rates in Hawaii. Call 808-522-2000 or apply online at financefactors.com. Finance Factors, equal housing lender, NMLS number 449916.
Brother, what you doing now? I'm doing my own PV system, and I get homey fall-proof gear. Brother, I don't think bubble wrap and duct tape going to work. Yeah, I get them. Check this out. Okay. Brother, you okay? I think that heat expanding stuff is true. Getting small kind of hot in here. Oh, no. It's raining over here. How we pop all the stuff? Oh, careful.
Make sure to have an electrical contractor and licensed electrician do your photovoltaic installations and electrical work.
IBEW Local 1186, lighting your path to the future.
When we talk about reimagining healthcare at Hawaii Pacific Health, we're really talking about you. Because making it easier for you to be healthier is what it's all about. With video visits to see your doctor from anywhere, with virtual urgent care, with more clinics near where you live and work, and with a personalized approach that focuses on prevention. We're reimagining healthcare for you. Visit hawaiipacifichealth.org/telehealth.
Slim's Power Tools would like to send a big mahalo for supporting their business over the past 49 years and shopping local, specializing in heavy-duty power tools, hand tools for the construction professional or do-it-yourselfer, locally owned and operated with new deals every month. Come see Slim's at 1626 Republican Street or slimspowertools.com.
Slim's Power Tools. When it comes to power tools, there's Slim and there's none.
Pacific Guardian Life first opened its doors in 1961. Today, they are the largest domestic life and disability insurer in the state. But then and now, their mission remains the same. They are committed to providing their customers with life insurance products to meet evolving financial needs. They are also committed to providing comprehensive employee benefits solutions in temporary disability and group life. They are proud to serve Hawaii's families and businesses. Visit PacificGuardian.com.
Play ball. Baseball is back and so is Sports Stand Sporting Goods, Hawaii's best baseball and softball store, always at a price you can afford. Sports Stand has bats for all ages, gloves for all positions, and all the accessories you will ever need. Located at 94547 Ukea Street, Suite 303 in beautiful downtown Waipio. Or give us a call at 676-7826. Sports Stand. It's not just sporting goods, it's still a way of life.
This is the Rivals Pregame Show on ESPN Honolulu.
Back we are in the home stretch of the Rivals Pregame Show. Gary Dickman and Derrick Lowe here on ESPN Honolulu. We'll send it up to Bobby Curran in just about 6-7 minutes from now. I'll be back at halftime to give you some stats and some more updates on the game in the Big West. And we'll give you some Big West scores from last night in just a second. Now, though, it's a feature we just started last week. We're going to give our key player, the H player, the Hawaii player who we feel will be a big factor in today's game. My H factor today, Derrick, and I looked up and down the lineup. I've got Jerome DeRosier. We talked about him last week, how smart he is, versatile. He can cover different positions. He can play the 3 and the 4, maybe even a little 2. And Aran Ganat said he can play a little 5 if needed as well. When you look at Santa Clara's shooters that we just discussed, all those 3-point snipers, 4 of them averaging over 36% percentage on threes, I think Jerome DeRosier is going to be a key on defense as well as offense. So he's my H factor of the game.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good call. I kind of want to copy you almost, but I'm going to really refrain from that. But
you don't trust me, that's why.
no, but instinct, I want to copy you. But
okay.
Let's see. I'm going to have to just go and pick. I'm going to go and say Mate Cholina. When I'm thinking about what Hawaii needs to do in order to be successful in this game, a couple of things stand out. Turnovers, we got to limit the turnovers, but the other end is we really got to clean up defensive rebounding. So, I mean, I want to say it's going to be a collective effort, but I want to put that on Cholina, being the biggest guy on Hawaii, being a big inside presence. He's going to have to keep Bediako and some of the other guys off the offensive rebounds, and so I'm going to have to say him. I think we got to do a good job of rebounding today. I think Hawaii lost the rebounding. They got killed against Irvine, and that was one of the biggest reasons why they lost. They lost the rebounding 26-43. So if we can keep them off the rebounds and limit their second chance points, limit our turnovers, I think we have a good chance.
Yeah, turnovers is key. As you said earlier in the show, I mean, you go from 20 turnovers, even to the 15 number that most coaches have as their line of okay or bad, over or under that number, that would have made a big difference. And that's uncharacteristic of an Aran Ganat team to have that many turnovers. You give South Alabama some credit for that. I think also, missing a couple of players with injuries and foul trouble. Mate Cholina, he had the double-double against South Alabama, 15 and 10. I think he had 23 and 7 against UIC. So he had a great week, as we said earlier. Still has the size advantage today, not quite as much as last week's game when both teams had their biggest player at 6'8". But it's great to see him do what he's doing on the court in major minutes. In fact, in Friday's game in that loss, he played 37 minutes. That's a lot. And I know he played over 35 against UIC. I'm glad they got some rest, but I think he's going to be a key player. I think both of our choices are going to be key, and hopefully they can get the job done. And I think also if you're a coach, you like to go 2-1 on a road trip. You like to go 2-1 or 3-0 in a tournament, and coming back, winning more than you lost, I think would really help this team feel good about themselves, maybe build a little confidence and momentum as well. So let's hope Hawaii's up for the task. And the turnovers, as you mentioned, that is definitely a big key. I agree with you on that. Let's go over some Big West scores from last night. I'll get your thoughts on a couple of them. 4 games from last night, all non-conference, of course. Wyoming, who will be here for the Diamond Head later on next month during Christmas week, they defeated Cal State Fullerton 79-66. St. Mary's, who just almost won the Maui Jim Maui in Las Vegas, losing to Wisconsin, they beat Riverside, who had defeated Arizona State earlier. St. Mary's won 67-50. And then UT Arlington, I don't know much about them, but they beat Santa Barbara last night 70-62. And then CSUN beat San Diego 56-52. So the Big West only won one of those 3 games last night. Pretty interesting. We got a lot of teams in the Big West that are playing similar opponents out of the conference. Wyoming could be an opponent, and some of the others, as we talked about. I want to also give the up-to-date standings or the records. There's no real standings in the Big West. Right now, UC Irvine is 4-1. Santa Barbara at 3-2. Riverside is 5-3. Bakersfield and Hawaii at 3-2. CSUN 3-3. Fullerton at 3-4. UC Davis 2-3. Poly 2-4. That's a lot of wins for them early on. Long Beach State plays San Diego State tonight. They are 2-4. And then UC San Diego, not eligible for the Big West tournament again. They are 4-2. When I say Santa Barbara and Irvine with the 2 best records, 4-1 and 3-2 on percentage points, although Riverside, I guess, would be up there at 5-3. Those teams, I think, are going to be at the top almost every year. They just have good recruiting, a lot of size, a lot of good shooting. So I expect big things from them. And you talked about Irvine with their rebound. I know they don't have Brad Green anymore. I'm pretty sure he's gone. He was the 6'11" player, did such a great job. But the Big West getting ready for conference play in about a month. Hawaii, in fact, will play on New Year's Day this year. New Year's Day, Christmas, and Thanksgiving. Got all holidays covered. So you and I will be spending a lot of holiday time together, Derrick, coming up in the next month. That will be fun, won't it?
Oh, definitely. You know what? It was on my Christmas list, so
okay,
so it's coming true.
Nothing better than seeing a lot of basketball, I feel. Of course, family is important as well. We're going to send it over again to Bobby in just a little bit. He'll give us the starting lineup and get us ready for the latest with the University of Hawaii basketball team. I think this team is capable of winning. Santa Clara, really good shooting team. If you can shut down 1 or 2 of their shooters, and maybe Iran just goes to a zone, just knowing that those 3-point specialists are that effective, maybe you can rotate, get a little help. Maybe you can get a little double coverage on some of those shooters. And the rebounding numbers, I think, are important. All the numbers or stats we mentioned, but I'm going to go back to what you said. I think turnovers are a key. You can keep it manageable. You really increase your chances of winning today.
Yeah, you keep your turnovers down, then you limit Santa Clara's opportunities to get points off of turnovers. And I think they had won, a lot of games by doing so. Right. And so, and it's always been Hawaii's Achilles tendon, but it's going to have to be a collective effort. Rebounding and turnovers is going to be real key. Those are going to be the 2 main things about today's game. No matter how good Santa Clara shoots, they've proven that they can outshoot the other team and still lose, mainly because of turnovers and rebounding. So anything can happen.
I'm hoping that guys like Kamaka Hep or anybody else stays out of foul trouble. That'll be a key as well. Well, that'll wrap it up for us. Derrick and I will see you next Wednesday at 6 o'clock before the HPU game. I will talk to you at halftime. We'll take a break, and Bobby Curran will join us next with Rainbow Warrior Basketball on ESPN. Hold on.
When you feel like Vegas, there's just one place to stay. Grab a drink at the Holo Holo Bar. There's just one place to play. We got a fresh, hot look, a new sports book. We got those local meals, just like Auntie cooks. Aloha spoken here.
Get back to Vegas with Vacations Hawaii. Airfare, hotel, meals, and transfers, just $777. For over 20 years, Woodcraft Hawaii has been Hawaii's loyal go-to headquarters for all your woodworking needs. We offer top-of-the-line tools and accessories at the very best prices, thanks to our fantastic vendors, Jet Powermatic, Rikon, DeWalt, Laguna, Milwaukee, Occidental, Makita, Bosch, and Festool. Follow us on Instagram or Facebook for more exclusive deals, or stop by at 1311 Kalani Street in Kalihi. Mahalo, Hawaii. Be safe. safe, socially distance, and wear your masks. At Woodcraft Hawaii, we will continue to make wood work for you.
Doctors of Waikiki is concerned about our community. Wash your hands frequently. Wear your mask in public. Keep social distancing of 6 feet or greater. If you feel you're experiencing COVID-19 symptoms, go to doctorsofwaikiki.com to schedule your appointment. They're the only doctor's clinic in Hawaii that provides rapid COVID-19 PCR tests, which gives results in minutes. Face mask is required upon entering the clinic. You are required to provide an ID and proof of insurance. Go to doctorsofwaikiki.com now for your appointment.
Have you been to Midas Hawaii?
Hello, Tim here from Midas Hawaii, where we are more than just mufflers. We are complete auto care, rated #1 in customer service.